Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Couch Potato Teasers episode 3. I hope you like what I've done with the logo. A little bit of sprucing up. It was getting a little stale, and I figured I'd change it up a bit. But that's the new logo going forward. Of course, the video is sponsored by Couch Potato Snack Food and Beverage. And let's get into it. So I've got one new riddle for you today, and this riddle was actually given to me. I reached out to my current students and my former students. A couple of former students reached out to me and gave me riddles. There's one of them that I was not able to solve yet, and once I do solve it, I will present it to you. Although the student told me that she told me this riddle last year, and so if you're listening, please don't hate me. I forgot it, and I'm thinking about it though. But the riddle that I will present to you, I was able to solve, and I want to thank Sawad for suggesting the riddle. And I'm sure many of you know exactly who Sawad is. But before we do that, let's get into some solutions from the previous video. So the Monty Hall problem, and this was actually a problem that I presented in the first video. I gave you a hint in the second video, and now here I will finally give the solution. So the question is, should you switch, stay, or does it simply not matter? Well, let's see what happens if you decide to switch. If you decide to switch in all three situations, where we are assuming that the winning door is the first door, you can assume the winning door is whichever door you like. The outcome, if you play it out in all three cases, is going to remain the same. But so let's say the winning door is the first door. So you guess door 1. Let's see what happens. You guess door 1. The host will then reveal one of the two losing doors. It doesn't matter which one they reveal. Let's say they reveal door 2. And then again, the strategy tells you to switch, so you would switch, but that unfortunately would be a losing door that you switch to. And so this would result in a loss. So far the switch strategy not looking too good. Well, let's see what happens if you decide to guess door 2 initially. Well, the host would have no choice but to reveal door 3 to you as the losing door. And then you would, again, your strategy is to switch. So you would switch to the only remaining door, which is door 1, and you would win this time. So now the switch strategy, not looking too bad. The third possible situation is that you guess door 3, which initially, that is a losing door. You don't know that, of course. None of this information is known to you ahead of time, but the host has no choice but to reveal the other losing door, which is door 2. And again, your strategy tells you to switch. You do so, and again, you happen to switch to the winner. And so you would win. And so what this kind of shows you is that if you choose to go with the switch strategy, you will only lose if your initial guess is correct. If your initial guess is wrong, then you will win with the switch strategy. And so in the long run, if you were to play this game many, 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 many times, you would actually win with the switch strategy 2 out of every 3 times. So pretty cool. With the stay strategy, maybe at this point you can kind of see what will happen. But of course, with the stay strategy, let's say you guess door 1, the host reveals door 2 is a losing door, and since your strategy is to stay, you would stay on door 1 and you would end up winning. So far, stay looks pretty good. However, with the second and third choices, you'll notice that your initial guess is with the losing door. The host, the host would have no choice but to reveal that losing door. So there are still two doors left. Again, your strategy is to stay. I don't know why oh yeah, so your strategy is to stay, and since you initially guessed incorrect and you're deciding to stay, you're going to lose the game. And same idea for the third case. If you guess door 3, which happens to be a losing door, the host will reveal that door 2 is a losing door. Your strategy is to stay. You initially guessed incorrectly, and again, this would result in a loss. So it does turn out that there is an optimal strategy, and that is to switch. Because in the long run, if you decide to stay every single time, you will only win 1 out of every 3 times, because your initial guess, when there are 3 choices and you don't know which door is the winning door, your initial guess is only correct 1 out of every 3 times. So pretty interesting problem. Last year I had some students that wrote a program that sort of predicted the best or kind of simulated many games in more general situations. So maybe there were 5 doors, 6 doors, 7 doors, or maybe there were 3 winning doors and 5 losing doors, so on and so forth. So that was a really interesting project. And if I can, I might ask them if I can sort of show you their presentation, if I have it recorded. But anyway, that's something for you to think about. What happens in more general cases when there are more than 3 doors? Okay. Anyway, that is the Monty Hall problem. The next, I will give you for the next stage of this video, I will give you the solution to the coins riddle. And it's so simple and elegant, which is why it is my favorite. What you do is you simply take the 100 coins and you split them into 2 groups, one with 90 coins, one with 10 coins. Then you take the group with 10 coins and flip all of those coins over, and you're done. And this may seem unbelievable, but it is absolutely true. And I'll go through one concrete example, and then I'll show you the general example, which proves that this will work every single time. What you have to remember is our initial condition. And the initial condition is that we currently have 10 that are showing tails. Okay, so we want to somehow find a way to split these 100 coins into 2 groups that have the same number of tails showing. All right, well, let's do what we said we would do, and that is we would take those 100 coins and split them into a group of 90 coins and a group of 10 coins. There's no way we can know how many tails are in each group, but let's say in this particular case, there happened to be 83 heads and 7 tails in the group of 90 coins and 7 heads and 3 tails in the group of 10 coins. So far, we have not accomplished what we wanted to do. We don't have the same number of tails in both groups. But if we take this group of 10 and flip all those coins, if you had initially 7 heads and you flip those 7 heads, they now become 7 tails. And if you had 3 tails and you flip those 3 tails, you now have 3 heads. The important takeaway here, though, is that now these 2 groups have the same exact number of tails showing. Obviously, by the way, you could have flipped either one of the groups, but it's just a lot easier to flip 10 coins than it is to flip 90 coins. So incredible that this actually works. Let's see it now in a little bit more of a general case. You might be thinking to yourself, well, maybe it just works for the 83-7 situation. Well, let's see. Again, we take these 100 coins. Remember, initially, there are a total of 7 tails showing in the 100 coins. So if we split them, the 2 groups, or the group of 100 coins into 2 separate groups of 90 and 10, and let's say that we have X tails in the 90 coin group, well, that means there must be 90 minus X heads in this group, right? Because in this group, there has to be a total of 90 coins, And 90 minus X heads plus X tails gives you a total of 90 coins. All right, so that's our split in the 90 pile. In the 10 pile, if we have X tails in the 90 pile, then that must mean we should have 10 minus X tails in the 10 pile. Because remember, initially in the group of 100, there were 10 coins showing tails. If X of them are in the 90 group, then 10 minus X of them must be in the 10 group. And similarly, if there are 10 minus X tails in the 10 group, then there must be a total of 10 minus the quantity of 10 minus X heads in this group. Just for sanity's sake, if you want to simplify this, 10 minus X, of course, is X, and X plus 10 minus X is 10. That tells us there's a total of 10 coins in this group. All right, now let's go ahead and flip these guys. If there were X heads in this group of 10 and I flip all these coins, then they now become X tails. And if there were 10 minus X tails and I flip them all, then they become 10 minus X heads. But the key takeaway is, of course, that there are X tails in the group of 10 and there are X tails in the group of 90. And there you have it. Once again, just an incredibly elegant solution, and that is why it is my favorite. And now a hint. So the 3 bricks, I've had a few people respond, a very few people respond, but no complete solutions yet. So the hint that I'm going to give is the word congruence. So think back to your geometry days. What do we know about congruent shapes? What properties can we use about congruency to help us solve this problem where we can somehow measure this inner diagonal without using Pythagorean theorem or anything like that, just simply with your ruler? So think about that. And now let me introduce to you Sawad's riddle. I'm going to call it You versus the Giant, and it goes like so. You're in a battle with a giant who wields a sword. As you're fighting, you end up losing your sword. However, because the giant is merciful, he lets you choose how you want to go. If you say something that's true, the giant will crush you with their bare hands. If you say something that's false, they will slay you with their sword. What can you say to the giant that'll let you survive? Okay, interesting. So if you say something that's true, you will get crushed. If you say something that's false, you will die by the sword. You have to somehow say something that will let you live. Ponder it, think about it, and I will reveal the answer tomorrow or whenever my next video is. I'm thinking tomorrow, but it might be maybe the day after. Either way, folks, I hope you are having a nice week and hope all is well, and take care.